Again, it's been a little more than 2 years now. I think August 29th. I will never forget the day. My fiance and I joke about how it's kind of my second birthday. I'm 2 years old, a little over 2 years old now, because I never expected to have firsthand experience with the phrase living on borrowed time. Things they say about having a second chance or a near-death experience are absolutely true, because that's where I was. I driving to work one day a couple years ago, and a semi-truck blew a stop sign. I never saw him. I woke up in the hospital trying to figure out what happened. When you look back at it, you realize just how close I was. And you look at my car and see how, half of the car is just absolutely destroyed. And I was in a little pocket of space where it was really the only place in the car where anyone could have lived. Having somebody look out for you is 100%, the reason I'm here. Had, some injuries to my shoulder, a lot of bumps and bruises, but the biggest thing was the collapsed lung. I think I was released from the hospital after 20 days. And so that was the biggest challenge, is just mentally on myself and on my family. I'm just so grateful to my fiance and my family for supporting me the entire time, and in God. And so when I get out on day 20, I get straight into physical therapy. But it was a long, hard road for sure. I can certainly relate to a lot of people now that have to go through that have these long nagging injuries, and I can discuss those things with them. After months of physical therapy, it ended up surgery was the best option for getting as much of my mobility back as I could, in the hopes of throwing a baseball again. And so then I had the surgery at some point last year. And then you start physical therapy all over again. So it's been pretty nonstop, and the entire time, of course, whenever anyone goes through an injury like this, your faith is tested. But that's been one of the biggest challenges that I've faced, and one of the things I'm most grateful for is just how resilient I was able to be, and how focused I was able to be, and how determined I was at getting better. I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity. It's just been just a goal of mine ever since I started teaching here to really just become a bigger part of what we're doing at Marquette. I've seen the school grow over the 6 years I've been here. I've really watched us take on new initiatives. All of us, teachers and staff included, have just invested so much in the school, and it really is just an honor to be a part of it at this level, and to enter into administration in the place where I started teaching is just really a dream come true. The biggest thing that I want people to realize is just how much of a family this group is, how much of a family we are here at Marquette. There's something about going to a small school where you just get more attention and you get more focus when it comes to preparing kids for the next level. And I think that's something that I valued as a teacher, is working in a small classroom environment. I think it's something we all value, and it's one of the things that makes Marquette really unique. So I've been very fortunate, and this is one of the things that really draws me to Marquette, and I think should draw other people here as well, is the international opportunities. I grew up traveling around the country playing baseball. And after I got done at college, it became something I wanted to do on a greater scale. My first trip was to New Zealand. I packed up my bags and I left and went over to New Zealand. I worked there for a year and just got to know the people and the culture and experience what their country is like. I had developed a taste for it and I wanted more, and so that transitioned into my first teaching job was teaching English in China. The amount of perspective you get from teaching overseas, especially in a place like China, was just really eye-opening. I went to South Korea, I went to Taiwan, I went to Iceland, and the more you travel around, the more you realize how much perspective there is to be gained from international travel. And it's just one of the coolest things we do here at Marquette, is we really encourage high school kids to get engaged and to join in these programs where they can take a trip over spring break, or they can spend some time in a classroom in a different country and really immerse themselves in these cultures. Is great for getting a perspective and figuring out what the rest of the world is like. And seeing kids come back from these trips and how much they've gained has just been such an advantage for them going into college. And it's just one of the things that I really think Marquette does a great job of. Figured if I was gonna figure out if I belonged in education, what better place to really start. And I was just so grateful for the experience, and it really was a great way to really see if this is what I wanted to do with my life. And I came back to America 100% convinced that this was the career I wanted. I wanted to be in education. Because I just got so much from it, and working in the classrooms over there, you just get a totally different look at the way life is. Marquette is a big international community, and we're constantly looking to include kids from other countries. And we've got a group of students from China, and so right away they walk into my classroom and I can say a couple Chinese words to them. I can communicate on their level just a little bit. And it's enough to really kind of open them up to learning in my class if they can see that I can meet them a little bit on that level. And so, I think that's a huge advantage, having the teachers get to experience this as well and having opportunities for them to travel. It just makes your classroom that more inclusive. And I think that's a big thing for, a school that is really encouraging international travel, is that the teachers get that perspective as well. Catholic faith has been a part of my life since day one, and so it's always been a part of my life, and even through years of playing baseball, it kept resurfacing. And the best example of this is, out of high school, I went to play baseball at Indiana State. I got a scholarship to play there. At the end of my freshman year, they hired a new coach. He came in and basically cleaned house. And so, I went from playing baseball my whole life and taking pride in how I played and getting a scholarship to basically being told I wasn't good enough to play baseball anymore. And so I was completely defeated. I didn't even know where I was going to go to college, and I went and played that summer, and I trusted in God's plan. And sure enough, there was a spot that opened up at Notre Dame, and my coach knew a coach who knew a coach. They came and watched me play, and sure enough, they had a spot for me. And a whole lot of things had to fall in place in order to make that possible. I would have never guessed it would have worked out this way. Someone was clearly looking over me. I'm incredibly blessed and incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to really buckle down, to trust in the plan that was given to me, and to get a chance to go to Notre Dame and finish out my career there and my education. And having the Catholic faith be a part of that was really important to me as well. And so I'm just really grateful I got the opportunity, and it continues to just kind of fall in line with how my life has gone. I grew up very close to my grandparents, both on my mother and my father's side. And that's something that, again, I'm just incredibly blessed to have those experiences. And they were always supporting me spiritually, and they always just kept me grounded. And then, of course, that translates directly to my parents as well. I'm really fortunate to come from a household with great parents who dedicated every ounce of the time they had towards making sure I had a great childhood. My mom was one of those moms that just threw creativity at us nonstop, and we were always asked to come up with creative solutions to solving problems and being creative at any chance we had. And my dad was always the guy that would take me out to the baseball field whenever I wanted to go, and he's still doing that. His influence is spread to every day of my life, and especially athletically. We've gone through all of those challenges together. And he's always been the guy right there by my side, feeling all of the pain, feeling all of the heartbreak along the way. And so to see your relationship evolve with your influences is a big part of it as well that I'm really grateful for. As a head of the social studies department, it's kind of our job to do something for Veterans Day. And it was actually my fiancée Laura that came up with the idea, and she actually recommended Folds of Honor. And all of the money that you donate to Folds of Honor gets used for scholarships for servicemen and women who have fallen or have been injured. And so it pays for books and tuition for the kids of our service members, and their spouses. And so last year we did a promotional hat that was part of our baseball team. I designed a patriotic version of our logo. We put it on our baseball hat, and we ended up selling over 150 hats. We raised $2,500 for this organization, which, when you think about it, is just such a huge feat. And so now I got the fever, and now every year, I'm looking for ways that we can raise more money for this organization, and then other organizations like them in the future. And so this year we have a Quarters That Pullover that has the same logo that I designed, but it's just a great opportunity for the school to take a step back and recognize the opportunity we have to help people like this. The position I'm in right now is just a credit to God's plan for me and how well I've been able to maintain that plan. Looking from this chair I'm sitting in now, I of course am able to see how this has all come together. And there's a lot of people out there that feel like nothing's matching up and they don't understand why and how does this fit with this. But for me, I'm really starting to see the whole picture, and I'm starting to see how this opportunity at Marquette is just one event in a very long line of things that has led me here. And I'm excited about the opportunity to move forward.